Okay, the UFC is back this Sunday. They have also a very good card in Rotterdam. They'll be making their debut in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. The main event, of course, is Andrei Arlovski versus Alistair Overeem, teammate versus teammate. Antonio Bigfoot Silva versus Stefan Struve is also on that card. A very interesting fight on that card, in my opinion, is one taking place in the welterweight division. Albert Tumenov going up against Gunnar Nelson. What a great fight that is. And we are being joined by Gunny himself right now. He is on the phone. Gunnar, how are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so let's start with the big news right off the top. I know a lot of people ask you about this, but I have to ask you right off the top. Very, very pressing matter. What the heck is going on with that tree outside of your house? Who cut it? Who's responsible for this tree? You were expecting that, right?
Yeah, I would have to take responsibility for that tree. Although I did not chop it down myself. I had it chopped down.
Oh, so you hired someone to chop this tree?
Yeah.
For those,
actually, I used to work for the guy chopping down trees. Funny enough.
Used to work for the. Okay, so this.
Yeah, he came.
The story is your neighbor had a tree that I guess was bothering you, and then you decided to cut it down, and now he's mad at you. Is that the story? This is all over the news. If someone Googles you, tons of media outlets have written about this story in Iceland. This is big news over there, apparently. This tree.
Yeah, it's a pretty ordinary thing to chop down these type of trees because their roots ruin all the pipes and they're really a mess in gardens where there's houses and stuff. And there was three trees, the same type of tree, and two were in my garden, and then one was just in his. And I rang him like 4 months before I'd done it, and it was my understanding that it would be okay that I took it if I just paid for it, so he didn't have to pay for it. But then I took it, and he went, he went to the papers, and I think he's gonna press charges, or that's what he says. I don't know. It's a bit weird, to be honest.
It is a bit weird. I couldn't believe it when I Googled you this morning. I saw tons of articles about you and this tree. At first, I thought it was a joke, but it's good. You're in Dublin now, so you've escaped the media frenzy surrounding this tree, right?
Yeah. I had to leave the country, No, I'm just joking.
Of course. So you return to action on Sunday. You have this fight against Albert Tumenov. Of course, the last time we saw you was in December. So you took a bit of a break there after the Damian Mia fight, which obviously didn't go your way. Was that your plan? Did you just want to take a break from fighting after that fight?
Yeah, I think it's good to, after a fight like that, there's a lot to learn from and to take a little break and train. And it was over Christmas as well and stuff, so I got to spend some time at home with my family. And actually, this whole camp was pretty much in Iceland, so that was really good,
So that fight was one. I mean, people were so looking forward to the fight. It was a grappler's fan's dream to see you two in there, sort of like the old generation and the new generation. And of course, it did not go your way at all. Looking back, I mean, can you pinpoint what went wrong? Like, what were the lessons that you took out of that experience against Damian?
I mean, there's a lot of little lessons there, but the big one for me, like I don't know. I just did not feel myself, However, if it was his pressure or whatever, I just did not feel good in this fight. I honestly don't feel like I showed up and I performed as I can, But yes, there's a lot of little lessons, There's a lot of little technical or tactical mistakes, I believe, more than technical,
Is it possible that you overestimated him? That maybe you thought, or I should say, underestimated. Excuse me, like that he ended up being tougher than you thought he would be.
He was definitely tough, and I knew he was going to be tough. And I don't think I underestimated him. I always knew he was going to be really good on the ground. And I've faced ground fighters like this before. Maybe not in MMA, not at his level, but I've been on the ground and grappled with really good grapplers before, and yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but For some reason, I just did not feel myself in this fight. I really felt I honestly just got tired after like 2 minutes of the very first round.
Wow.
Just didn't feel like I was in my own body, to be honest.
Have you ever experienced anything like that before?
Yeah, similar. This was probably the worst case, and probably also because of the level of his ground game. It just highlighted everything, you know. But sometimes I've felt this, and it's something that I've been working on, you know.
It was, you know, I've read that you've said this in a couple of interviews that you didn't feel like yourself. Was it just that morning, that day in the locker room, or is that how you were feeling all week in Las Vegas leading up to the fight? Was something just off?
Not the whole week at all. It just kind of comes and goes on random times. It's like I don't even know how to explain it sometimes, but to be honest, I really don't even want to talk about it. I just want to leave it, you know.
Okay.
I'm just working on it, and that's it, you know. It's just one of these things that I just work on, and I have nothing to say about it, really, you know. I wouldn't really know where to start to talk about it. I guess maybe someday I will be able to explain it better, but as of now, I'm just focusing on what I need to be doing, and I feel a lot better, you know. I feel really good.
Fair enough, and I totally respect that. Just wondering, after the fight, did you consider not fighting anymore? Did that ever come into play? Did you consider walking away from the sport, or were you always coming back?
Yeah, no. I to be honest, I feel like I've never been better when I have good days and stuff, you know. It's like my skill level is really high, I feel, and I'm just like, everything seems to be coming together very nicely most of the time, and so I really love fighting. I love this game, and so I really want to carry on. And I never thought after this fight that I was going to quit. That was never my never a go-to thought, you know. It's more, you know, whatever happens to you, whatever you go through, you just have to overcome it, you know. It's just your path, you know, and embrace it and carry on.
So Tumenov, who you're fighting on Sunday, he's looked fantastic as of late in the UFC. He has won 5 in a row. I'm wondering if you've even paid attention to him. Are you the kind of guy that keeps an eye on the fighters who's sort of in your bracket as far as the rankings are concerned? Has he been on your radar? Did you know anything about him when they offered you him?
Yeah, I'd seen him. I had seen his fights, or a couple, or maybe 2 or 3 fights before. I knew I was fighting him. Yeah, he looks good. You know, he looks really good on the feet, especially. I haven't seen much of his ground game, but he looks tough and durable, and he's he's got a kind of a good pressure on the feet. You know, fast hands, good kicks. You know, and so he's been looking really good against everyone. You know.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, 100%. You mentioned that the majority of this camp has been in Iceland. Any particular reason for that? Of course, you know, Iceland is, at least for people like myself living in New York, it feels like some fantasy world. Just like I can't even imagine what it's like. It just sounds so amazing to be there, but somewhat secluded. Yet ironically, 2 weeks ago, because of everything going on with your teammate Conor McGregor, it felt like it was the center of the MMA universe. So my question is, any particular reason why you were there for so long, that the whole camp or the majority of the camp was there? And B, did it sort of defeat the purpose once everyone was talking about Iceland and his situation, getting that sort of seclusion that you were hoping to get that you didn't end up getting, if you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but I really enjoyed training over there, and having the guys over is always great. And Conor was over for a week, and it just happened to be that week where everything went off, and Yeah, I'm not sure what you're asking about that, if that was bothering me or not, or...
Yeah, well, exactly it. I mean, everyone was talking about Iceland. I know some media people flew there and trying to get interviews with him and with your father, Halli, as well. Did it start to feel like a lot of outside, distractions and things like that while you're trying to peak and get ready for your fight?
Oh, right, I get you. Yeah. So, no, it just felt like home to me. It didn't really bother me, all that stuff around Conor. I mean, I was following it, obviously, but yeah, to be honest, I've always kind of liked when the spotlight is on someone else.
Yeah.
While I'm working on my stuff, and obviously the spotlight is on Conor, so it suits me fine. I don't mind having the spotlight on me for a little while, but I wouldn't really. That's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm fighting in the UFC, and I wouldn't really be drawn to that.
Of course.
I like fighting. I like martial arts, and I wouldn't really be drawn to the spotlight, to be honest.
I'd imagine that's sort of the yin and yang that you and Conor present, right? Because you're so different from each other and opposites attract, right? I mean, you could not be more different than him as far as personality is concerned.
Yeah, well, we've heard that plenty of times.
Yes. Paddy Houlihan tweeted while you guys were there that it was the first time that the entire team was in Iceland, the SBG guys, since before the UFC Dublin show in July of 2014. Is that true? Is that the first time? And did it feel like old time? Like, did you like that, having the guys back? Did it feel sort of like you guys were starting all over again in a weird way?
Yeah, it was great having everybody over. I've obviously been over here
Sure.
a lot of times, and in Vegas and training with all the guys. So, but it was great having everybody in Iceland now, training with in our club with our com team, and the guys in the team obviously loved it as well. Yeah, it doesn't feel like that long, to be honest, because we used to train there all the time, and yeah, it's a really nice place to train. All the guys from Dublin even love to come over to Iceland. I had Carl Pendred over with Phil Mulpeter. They were just the two of them were over, stayed with me for 3 weeks before all the other guys showed up. So. Yeah, it's been a great camp, and all the guys love being over there and just focusing on training,
One thing I've always wanted to ask your father: how do you pronounce the name of your gym there in Iceland? It's hard for someone who doesn't speak the language. How do you pronounce that?
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Okay.
Yeah. It's the hammer of Thor. It's like, have you seen Thor?
Yes, of course.
The Hollywood movies. Yeah, they pronounce it there decently, or they try to at least.
I won't try to do it again because I'm not that good. But I have seen some of the videos that your team has put out, in particular the Sorry video. You know the one I'm talking about? This has been a revelation to me.
No.
You don't know this video?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, for I know you can't watch the show because you're on the phone, but I'll play a little bit of it here. What is going on here? Because this, to me, to see this side of you, and I got to say, your father is really the one wearing all black, holding the sign. If you're watching live, he's really the star of the show, in my opinion. But
he is the star. Yeah.
What is going on here?
He is.
Where do you? There you are. There, wearing that yellow jacket. I mean, at least it looks like you. Maybe it's a doppelganger. Where did you guys come up with this? Why did you do this?
I've had that yellow jacket for a long time. It's
something else.
It's something else, right? Yeah, we it's something we do for every annual party. We have this annual party beginning of the year usually, and it's. We just do a bunch of videos and remake some famous music videos. And last year, I think, or the year before, we did Chandelier.
Yes, we actually have that. We can play that as well. We have that clip. I queued that. That was a great one, too. I liked Sorry better, just for the record. But, yes, here's Chandelier. Keep going.
Yeah, they're just getting better and better now, more and more professional. I thought the Sorry video was was just on point.
Oh. Well, I mean, to say it's on point is almost an understatement. The production value was exquisite. Did you enjoy doing that? It was fun to see that side of you.
Oh yeah, it was just we done it in a day. We done it in even not even a full day. We put this white thing in the gym, in the main area, the training area in the gym, and we had our choreographer, you know, a girl from the gym who's a dancer, just picked up all the moves, and we did our absolute best. We just had a great fun. People were just messing about there, and yeah, it's just it's just a fun day at the gym, really.
Oh, I love it.
And then, of course, very fun for everyone to see the video at the annual party.
Have you started to think, like, what's your dream one to play out? Anyone that comes to mind? Is there like a dream song video that you'd like to actually put together with the team? I know there's got to be one. Bjork?
Maybe not. No, I want to do something American, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, let me do some study on this, and I haven't really thought too much about this, but
fair enough.
Maybe next time we'll talk, I'll have my preference on next year's video.
Okay. How's fatherhood? Your son is so cute. Wow, it's amazing to see him. He looks like a little.
Thank you.
He looks a lot like you. I mean, with the blonde hair, it's great. How do you like fatherhood? Does this change how you approach your fights? Get ready for fights at all?
Well, yeah, you have to. Obviously, you want to spend as much time with him as you can. So you want to stay. You wouldn't be traveling as much as I used to. But it's something else, you know. You wouldn't really know unless you've had kids. It gives you inspiration, and it really just lightens everything up, you know. Whatever you're doing with him, and you see him learn, and he's at the age now. He's going to turn 2 now, at the end of May, and
wow,
he's climbing everywhere, jumping off everything. He's a little rascal, you know. He won't stop, and it's just really, every time I see him, he's got some new tricks. It's life, you know.
Have you fed him the sheep's head yet? Has he tried that delicacy?
Yeah, he eats everything, all types of meats, and he's not going to be vegetarian. I can tell you that. He doesn't. You know, you try to give him spinach or he'll eat carrots and bell peppers. That's about it, I think. He doesn't really dig the green stuff.
You plop down the actual sheep's head in front of him, and he has no problem. He digs in.
Oh yeah, he loves lamb, and
wow,
sheep says it makes no difference to him. I think.
He's more of a man than I am already at less than 2 years old. Unbelievable. Okay,
Have you been to Iceland?
I have never been, but I'd love to go one day. It looks exquisite. That water, it looks amazing.
You need to come over. I'll give you some sheep's head and shark meat and.
Well, I don't know about that.
Some of the good stuff, you know.
Let's not get crazy, but I do appreciate the invite, and I'd love to take you up on it. Okay, let me ask you about this. I'd be remiss if I don't ask you. Can you just offer your take on what's going on with your friend Conor? Do you think he fights again? What do you make of this craziness that he's not on the card? How crazy is this? Do you think it's absurd that we've gone to this point? What do you make of it all?
I think it kind of happened because he wanted to really focus on his training for this fight, and he felt like going over there and doing all this media stuff was going to take away from his training. And I think that's the reason why he kind of got enough. And enough of that, you know, and like he says he's done dancing, you know, like a monkey, and he wants to focus on training, and I understand that. And he felt like going over there was gonna come down on his training, so he decided to retire, and he was retired, and he said the same thing to us as everyone else. He wasn't like just putting it up and saying I'm retired, but really he wasn't. But he was going to retire, and then I think he kind of changed his mind, and I wanted to see if he could come back, or I don't know exactly how he was thinking it through. What exactly was the deal? But I believe he's definitely going to come back and fight. You know.
From your
when exactly, I'm not sure, but maybe 201 or 202. I would definitely put my money on that he'll be back, and and I believe the money is there as well.
As a welterweight, would you prefer him to go down and fight at like 155 or 145, or do you think it's good for him to be fighting in your weight class?
I would have liked him to see him in the 155 division.
Yeah.
But it's really just up to him. Whatever he wants to do is I think that 145 is maybe he'll go. I know he can go back down and defend his title, no problem. But I just think he doesn't want to do that cut again. It's a nasty one, and I agree with him, and I understand that. So I think maybe I would like to see him going into the 155 divisions before, going all the way up to the welterweight. But he'll do whatever he feels like.
Well, one last thing on this, based on what you heard, did the UFC offer to take your gym in Iceland and replicate it in Las Vegas? Did you hear this at all, that they were going to take all the stuff and move it? Were you down with that? Did you even hear this? Because that's what was said before.
I heard something about this, but I don't think this was anything that made any sense. I don't think they're going to move our gym anywhere, and I don't really see the point even.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
I did hear something like that, but not through something serious. Not like we run the gym, and I just saw it on some website,
Okay, fair enough. Well, Gunnar, it's always great to catch up with you. I appreciate it. Good luck in the fight this Sunday. Good luck with that tree situation, back home. I hope it all works out. And always great to watch you fight. Always love watching you, and I think this is a fantastic fight. You versus Albert Tumenov this Sunday. It's live on Fox Sports 1 here in the United States. Appreciate some time on a Monday night in Ireland, Gunnar, and again, all the best to you. Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks very much. My pleasure. Thank you.
There he is, Gunnar Nelson, stopping by. Great to talk to him. Looking forward to seeing how he rebounds Sunday afternoon here in the United States, Sunday night in Rotterdam.